Okay, kindergarten, we are going to be finishing up our pig. Before I show you the last step, I want to show you something that's new. Now, we're going to be using something called an oil pastel. This is different than your normal crown that we've drawn with. I want to show you the difference. They kind of look the same when you draw with them. The black crown still does the same thing. The cool thing about a black crown is when you rub it, it really doesn't make too much of a mess. Oil pastel, these are a little bit different. They look very similar, a little bit darker, but you got to be careful because if you rub it, it does make a mess on your paper and a mess on your finger. So you've got to be really careful as you're drawing with the oil pastel, because if you're rubbing your arm all over the paper, then it's going to get a mess on you and it's going to smear your paper and it's not going to look as clean as we want it to. You got to be real careful because if you take the oil pastel and you draw on your hands, because it's going to get all of your hands and it's going to get all of your face and it'll just make a mess. So beware that we are going to be using the oil pastel, so we don't want to smear our paper. Now, you may only have one or two per a table. So the supply manager, you get to keep one and start with it, and the table captain will get the other one, and then you'll pass it to the other people. First, folder holder. When you get your folder, make sure that you open it up. We still have our names. Make sure you are passing the pigs to the correct person. Today, you're going to keep the folder at your table because we're going to actually put the pigs back in the folder because they will not be wet. Flip it over. You're going to get your oil pastel. Again, we are going to use this to go over all the lines because if you remember, we painted over the smile, painted over the cheeks, painted over the eyes. We painted over a lot of the lines that we did with the black crown. So we're going to start at the top. That way it's going to help us as we move down. We're not going to be rubbing our arm all over it. So you're just going to start at the top and follow every line, even in the middle of the ear, that you drew on the head. Okay, this is the most important because obviously we painted over these. Head first, and then you're going to move down to the body. So make sure that you have gone over these little shapes and lines that we have covered up with paint. And then, just like we were drawing it, you're going to move down. Now we don't need to cover the color the hooves back in unless you have painted over them for some reason. I'm going to outline them, which means I'm just going to go over the outside lines. Okay, so now you can see my pig is back. I'm going to take the oil pastel, pass it to the next person. Just make sure they get back in your basket when everybody has finished them. And then you will take your pig, you'll put it back in your folder holder. When you get all of your pigs in the folder, that is when you will bring the folder to my box. I will be passing out baby wipes at the end of class.